lepas ya. Kenapa? Nanti selepas kayaknya nanti dicoba pakai remote. Soalnya ini pakai remote. Ada juga entah nanti kan di zoom di full screen aja. Agak mirip di itu bisa di remote di private. Kamu lihat di sini main dunia teater nanti. Kalau ruang biro ada fair, atau di sini.
Now people keep driving, exploring. Wait, moving ahead.
Nah, ada lu masuk lagi. Udah? Di itu dulu, mau di logo dulu. Tapi di Zoom juga logo ya? Oh gitu ya? Yang scene gitu, yang
Recording in progress.
Okay, good morning everyone, and welcome to i3L for students and participants both online and offline. First of all, we would like to welcome the team from Goodyear. Welcome to i3L. Thank you very much for your time, and I know you traveled quite far away from Bogor to come to i3L to share with us regarding the green sustainability marketing efforts in Goodyear. If you notice, you dress very well, and even the jeans are Goodyear branded. So I've been to many boutiques in the world, but I've never seen a good pair of jeans with a Goodyear brand on it. So maybe you have extra, my size is 34. Okay. So before we get started, I want to introduce Bapak. There is Sondi, Miss Beth, some of our students from my marketing class. They are here. They will be very excited to ask questions and receive material from you. And I want to introduce the team from Goodyear, yeah, Bapak. First, we have Pak Sondi, Yutendra, Nugroho. Yes. Good morning. As Sales Training and Fleet Development Manager. Welcome to Yutendra, Bapak. Second, we have Bapak Bayu Putranto, Sales Manager, Original Equipment. Good morning, all. Morning, Pak. Welcome. Next, we have Bapak Azhar Lumbantoruan as a Plant HR Manager. And last but not least, Bapak Azhar, Field Engineer, OTR, Asia Pacific, and to Bapak Ibu, his name is not listed here, also welcome. So without further ado, maybe we can start the presentation slides. Who wants to start first? So if you have questions online or offline, you can just ask questions and answer. You don't have to wait. So Bapak here will be happy to ask questions. For you who are online, please type your questions in the chat box. For those who are here, please just raise a question and the microphone is ready for you. Please add up.
Okay, thank you, Pak Hafiz. Hello, good morning all, and we are from Goodyear. Thank you for having us here. And this is class of
Goodyear 2023.
2023 from the business school. Okay, business school. Hello everyone. Before we start the presentation, first of all, I would like to introduce a fellow friend of mine that sits back there. We have Ibu Dinda. Ibu Dinda is the head of marketing and communication. That's Ibu Dinda. And we have also Ibu Sarah. Ibu Sarah is the quality manager for our raw material. And then we have Pak Agus Sujono. Pak Agus is the IT for Asia Pacific. And then we have Pak Dery there. Pak Dery is a business partner, finance business partner for in Indonesia. And we also have Bapak Iwan on the camera. Is the sales manager for the Goodyear. And if you have a question, just stop me, and then you could raise your hand and put a question. Okay. Okay. While we are waiting, so this is the business class of 2023. On the first semester, second semester, second semester. Okay, second semester of 2023. So, how many class? How many students are there on the business class? Yeah, the whole population.
Roughly 30, 40 students.
That's batch 2023.
Spread across four cohorts.
Oh, four across. Okay. Very done. Okay. Let's move on. First of all, we would like you guys to help us on the survey that we have. We have a barcode here that maybe you could scan. Just want to know how much it's you guys know Goodyear. And for of the fellow friends in the online also could help tap into this barcode. Okay, let's wait a while. It's a small survey that's saying, do you know Goodyear? And then how much do you know about Goodyear? Just being honest on this survey, because we need the honest input for this survey. Okay. I think everyone will say that. Okay, almost there. Okay. You all good? Thank you. Thank you for having us. And we move on. First of all, we would like to give us a glimpse of what is Goodyear and how do we contribute to the community, the global, and to our customer. And also, we would like to share with you guys about the Indonesia plans that we have here in Indonesia. And who we are is the more than the entire company, more than just a glimpse of the things that we put as a supporting things on your car. And we have a small video that we would like you to see.
so much more than a tech company. We're a company dedicated to enabling mobility. For more than 120 years, we've developed the technology that keeps people moving. We're inspired to help people keep driving, exploring, creating, and most importantly, moving ahead. From today's vehicles to the driverless fleets of the future, we're not just putting tires on cars, we're fueling the future science in motion. Because people will never stop moving, and we will be there to help them reach their destinations, as we have throughout our history. We are Team Goodyear.
Okay, we are Team Goodyear. We are back in the days. We like the first we are trying to explain who we are in a glimpse. But if we see on this picture that it's not actually a glimpse. It's like a whole decade of Goodyears. So back then in 1889, we got a startup. We are making tires. We start making tires in America, and then throughout the years, we are expanding throughout the nation, throughout the continents. We are also helping others and helping the technology of the tires and the bicycle like cars, planes, and stuff. That's to make our customers move from point A to point B. So throughout the years, we also help like the aviations on the Mustangs, on the Goodyear, and then that's way back on 2042, and then maybe the glimpse of the business process that would like to see or would like to hear is we are the first tire company that broadcasts our advertise in TV. That's way on 2049, 1949. That's a few years after Indonesian independence. And then move on. We have the first tires. We also the first tires that doing run flat. So if your parent has a BMW maybe, there's a run flat tires. That's have a very thick set also. You get burst maybe and on the way maybe get fallen nail or maybe that stuff. It still goes run like 100 kilometers, 80 to 100 kilometers without having a damage on it. And then we are also helping others to move the technology way on further to mobility stuff. We are starting to help the EV. We are also right now in the concept that I'm making 360 tires that is 100% round that could move on a many axis, not just one axis. And on the throughout the years, we also buy other brands that help us to expand the business. So back in 2021, when we are having a pandemic, we are having an expander on buying another brand called the Cooper. So being part of the Goodyear and try to expand our brand to a much more wider audience.
Now, as a business, Goodyear is all over the place. We are in cars. We call it the consumers. That we sell the tires from the business to a consumer, to a B2C, and then we have also a racing one. A racing one is the brand of Goodyear being compete to a racing tournaments. Right now we are still having on the Le Mans on the 24-hour race, and then we have a chemical one. The chemical is how we sustain our raw materials, so we could still have we could produce the tire and has the how do you say it, a puncture time to hand on the ability of all of the raw materials. And then we go to the truck and bus, as we call it, the commercial one, because the commercial one is the tires that making money, the tires that delivers your package from point A to point B, from the buyer to the customer, and then the commercial is the one who's also delivering your electricity from coal and maybe fuel. That's the one we call it the commercial, because on these tires is the ones that being put on the truck and bus. And then the other one is the off-road tire. The off-road tire is the tires that's on the mining, on the mineral that collect like a lithium, gold, and stuff, and then coal, the ones that produces electricity, and then some of it also in lithium also. We are staying using this tire, the off-road tires, the ones that not on the road, the ones that we call the off-road tire. And then on aviation, because plane still using tires, because on the way you goes take off and on the way you goes landing is still using tires. And you could imagine how much pressure and then speed that generate when doing the takeoff from 0 to 200 kilometers per hour in a small distance. And then when they are landing with all those load, you have to stop and you have to land comfortably and stop on the minimum distance of the runway. And then we also not just selling tires. We also has goals that on the technology that we try to implement and we try to share with you guys. And on these bold goals, we are trying to share that here on last year on 2023, we tried to double up our scale. We are double up the release of the product. So the customer will have a lot of options, and then the needs of the tires also being available in every store and every distributors that we have. On this year, on 2024, we are trying to make our portfolios much more fewer, so it's like less complexity. So if we have a less complexity, the business will run much more smoother, because the amounts of parts, the amount of parts is gonna be much more smaller, but on the options is gonna be much more wider. And then still also on the 2024, this year, we are trying to make every brand, every automotive brand has a Goodyear tire on it. Because in every automotive brand, there is a segment. There are segments on the SUV, on the luxury, on the EV, on the small LCGC, and on the trucks, or maybe you call it an UT. So we try to fulfill all of that with our brand. And then move on to next year goals. We try to make it the tire as we speak, that's already doubling up on the 2023, and then being a less complexity on 2024 is much more low cost, because if we make it on the big scale, the price will go down, right? If we make it less complexity, so the part will much more viewer, also the price will go down. So we also would like to have that on 2025, and then move on again to 2027. We try to reinvent our tire, just to make the tires that being put could send more data to us, so they could talk to us, they could tell us what they feel. So in that sense, we try to make a technology development also on 2027. We put a lot of sensors that could maintain and to tell how is the tires. Is it the tires worn out? Is it the air or the inflation of the tires still good? Because all of it are very useful on the safety of our bicycle and our cars and our trucks. That is the one things that we want to have, so the tires could talk to us, could give us the information. And next, on the 2030, we try to make the tire with a free maintenance. We make it like buy and forget, and then we try to make it like because there is a sensor on it, because the tires could talk to us, to talk to your car, to talk to your units, that could make the much more less of the maintenance. And then talking about that, we also got nominated, we also got granted and noticed as the 100 greenest company in the world, in the automotive industry, because we use a much less solvent or we call it oil, and then we also cut off the reduction of the utilize of the energy, and that's why we here to talk about that and to share with you guys. On the product itself, we are right now trying to go friendly. We use, like on the other slide, we use much less oil or solvent. We compensate that with using a soybean oil for the ingredients of our tires. And then for make it much more lighter, we use another materials that being abundant to all over Asia. We have the rice hunch, or we call it here gabah, right? Gabah kering. That's quite abundant. We use it as a silica, as the compensate for the silica. And then try to make the sustainability of the natural rubber, try to make the rubber tree is much more healthier. And then we also try to make the replicate and re-engineer the new tire architect. We try to make the tires that are non-pneumatic, because conventional one is using an air, right? So after that, we're gonna make the tires without an air and airless. It's non-pneumatic tires. And then the 360 ones. And then because right now, in the whole world, that's the trend is on the electric bicycles, on the electric cars. We make the tires on the electric bicycle could recharge again for the EV. Okay. So that's the Goodyear Global. Maybe if you have a question or something want to ask, you could raise your hand, just interrupt me while you can. Okay.
Is there any question from online participant? Not yet. From students? Any question? Crystal clear, yeah?
Yeah. We still have our 3 panelists here that could help me.
Maybe I just want to ask you
Yes.
One short question. During the COVID, you mentioned that you actually survived COVID. How did you do that? Because
Goodyear is famous for tire, and
Mhm.
for about 2 or 3 years, people don't travel as much, so they don't use their tire as much.
Yeah.
How did you survive that? That's very interesting.
That's a very good question because on COVID, on the pandemic, that's 2020, 2022, right? The behavior of the markets was kind of flip. Before, before people like to go to the traditional market, to the mall, to buy stuff, and then to have a feel on it, and then purchase it and take it home, right? On the pandemic, the behavior of the consumers got flipped, got changed, and they are towards the e-commerce, the online purchase, right? Now, on the online purchase, the traditional is kind of blocked because people don't use to have face-to-face interaction, right? But on the online, how the Goodyear survive, the distribution of the tires what went crazy. There is a few expeditions like GNA, GNT, and stuff like that. They have this unit, these cars. That's the program is called the hot seat. So it travel Jakarta to Surabaya forward, backwards, for the whole day just to deliver the package that being purchased by us. Now, in that kind of case, the consumable of the tires went up. So people's not traveling, but people still buying. So when people still buying, they're still using cars. They're using cars. The cars just travel from point A to point B. But the traffic is much more less congested than before. But the traffic of the courier is much more faster, and the courier itself buy much more unit, much more cars, like the blind van, and then they bought like a pickup, like, right, Bayu? Yeah. The amounts of the carrier for the commercial is much more higher, Pak. So that's how we survive on the during the COVID. Luckily, we survived because of the flip of the consumer behavior. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak.
Yeah. So that's a very, very good question. Yeah. And on the spirits, we have a revenue also, and like I was mentioning before, we have acquired the other brands called Cooper. So I think we're doing good on the pandemic. Okay. Another question maybe? Oh, yes, Pak.
Thanks. To add some additional answer from Pak Faris' questions, actually in Goodyear, some type of tires, pandemic, some of the consumer tires, which is using by a small car to deliver things, that's increased the sales. But of course, for the luxury cars, maybe not. The most survive is commercial tires. Like a truck using our tires, then the truck mobile from one province to another province. This is consume many tires during the COVID. Normal, not even better, because many truck also moving around because it's crazy. But what we say during the pandemic, for example, we have some targets to achieve. During that time, we keep achieve our target, something like that. So additional from Pak Richard.
Okay, thank you. So I would like also to share about the process in our manufacturing, because it's not only for commercial, right? So how the company running the process in the business. And during that period, it's quite heavy for us, similar like the other business in a global and also the regional team. So for operation things that we need to ensure that basically we can run the process, the manufacturing process, but with the strong protocol. And at the time, we also need to ensure that basically our cost operational is will meet the budget that we have right now at the time, and ensure that basically people can come in safely, because there is also worries from the associate itself, how the company can ensure that basically when they work, they can feel safe and can go home again. That's why during that process, we follow all the protocol by the government regulation, and also we do the what you call tracing and something like that, and the test if someone who have the symptom, something like that, and with the strong commitment together from the associate and also the management, we can survive and also can run the operation even the best in the Asia Pacific itself, because at the time most of the manufacturing is not running, and also what we call it only can produce more than 60 capacity, but for Indonesia manufacturing itself we can run with 100 capacity, 100% fully covered.
Yeah, it was a very tough and good period at that time, because the factories cannot stop. If the factories stop, we cannot produce tires. And if we cannot produce tires, all the units that's being put on the courier, on the trucks, and then on the other side of the countries that produce also electricity, it cannot run. That's how we just run with the help of the HR, and then we see the opportunity there, and we see a lot of stuff that's could be produced with us, and we just try to make a good protocol on it, very strict protocol on it, so we could still deliver the result of our company goals. Okay, Pak. Yeah, that's a good one. And move on. Goodyear Indonesia. So Goodyear is an American company, and we are here in Indonesia. We are placed in Bogor. Bogor is like 40 clicks away. You have a good coffee there, good food there, and then we are already established way back before Indonesia on 1935, and then in Bogor itself, we are staying. The factory is operating on the city. Next to our factory is the Bogor Palace. So back then, it was still like how do you call it? The forest of the rubber tree. So they just a plantation of a rubber tree and got have a lot of urbanization, and then from a small train stations and become a city. So we are here now, and right now we are producing 3 of our products: the consumer for a passenger, and then we a commercials for the truck and bus, and then the OTR of the roads for mining, port operations, and farm. And all of it, all of the associates that working in Goodyear right now in Bogor is around 1900 plus, so nearly 1,000 people that's working on Goodyear. And we also have a lineup because we want to fulfill our customers' needs. We have the EV right now. There's the tires for the electric vehicle, and then we have a sportsman of the sports luxury, and we there's the Eagle F1s, and then the sports like for the sport performance one, like the BMW M, or maybe you have the AMG that could use the Goodyear F1 Sports. And then we also have a few others like the Surun Convert threads for making the less noise, and then have a very bouncier tires that could make the rides much more smoother. And then if you want to have like a 50-50 off-road, on-road, you can use the max guard. And then for the production of the consumer, we also know that Indonesia has a tendency to have a very big cars, like the Pajero, like the Palisade, and like the Fortuner. So to fulfill it, we have the efficient grip SUV performance. It could go fast, it could have a good payload, and then it still have a comfort for the performance, for the handling and braking. And then we also have from the truly off-road, we have the Wrangler Silent Track. We have a white sidewall on it that's saying the Wrangler and Goodyear. And then we have another ones, the AMG SUV and the cargos. We are running from a 14-inch to 22-inch for the consumer. And I think it's quite cover up all of the cars that produce here in Indonesia. And then we also have a marketing ads that we are try to flexible to all of the Indonesian holidays, and then we try to fulfill everything and make much more good on the promotions. Like right now we have the Imlek for the Chinese New Year's. We have the Imlek dapat cuan. Oh, that's mean in Imlek you still have monies. We can do a trade-in. We can do have also the a worry-free that's gonna be mentioned after this. And we go online. We go online on the e-commerce. We go online on the Tokopedias that's Bu Dindar's right now is handling. We also would like to coverage all of the next generations, because people right now have a small tendency to buy things like I was mentioning, because on the pandemic, people are still most likely like to buy it still online. So some of it still want to have the tires being put online and have it booked, and they could still have it installed on the store, the Nextbus store, or the stores that near their house. So we are trying to make it much more convenience, and we are trying to reach all of the customers in all of the around the, how do you say, around the neighborhood and stuff. And then the best things in Goodyear that no one have is the worry-free assurance. Because like you're buying a cell phone, right? Or you're buying a Mac. There is an insurance for that, right? And most of our competitors don't have the insurance for their tires. We have one. We have the insurance, the worry-free we call it. So as if you're strolling the road, you're cruising, and then you got stuck by a nail, you got stuck by a sidewalk, or maybe you got stuck by an iron road, stuff like that, that make your car puncture. We just replace it on the, this one is like a year, right, Pak? Like a year warranty, and then have a small amounts of kilometers, right? Oh, Pak Sondi.
Yeah, to add some information about this very, what we call it, very excited program by Goodyear, we had what we call it worry-free assurance program. So this program just similar like if you want to buy a car, you call it all risk. There's some insurance, we call it all risk, right? So similar like this. How long? This will take around 1 year. 1 year exactly, and then or 20,000 kilometers, still covered by Goodyear, whatever it takes. So be put in your mind, whatever it takes, we change with the new tires. So this program until now, anybody cannot copy our program. So we are the one who still have this program. That's right.
Yes, and still we, with this insurance or the worry-free or the all-risk insurance that we have on, we put on our tire, we still make a profit, and that, and we could still make competitive start with our competitors. Sorry. Okay, and 2,000 kilometers is like going here to Bali, back forward 20 times, right? Yeah, that's quite a long, that's like a long ride, Pak. 20 times Jakarta, Bali is back and forth. Okay. And we would like you to help us again on the post survey, that we want to know how is the Goodyear acknowledgement, the Goodyear dollars that's being put to you, to being shared to you. How is the impact, or after this maybe you know how much you know about Goodyear. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Budinda has something. We would like to know on this audience who already followed the Goodyear Indonesia Instagram. Oh yeah, or who wants to follow now? You could raise your hand. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Who is it? We have to see it first, Budinda. Yeah, sure. And yeah, what's your name?
Christopher.
Christopher. Yeah. Okay. And we have one more. Yeah, another one, and this is Miss.
Mutia.
Yeah, we have Miss Mutia. Mhm. Okay. Okay. Move on. We have a small slide.
The road has changed. What was once science fiction is emerging every day, from electric vehicles to autonomous driving, which is why this isn't a story about cars. This is about how Goodyear Sightline is turning intelligence into a new way of seeing the world, allowing us to know more so fleets can be serviced more efficiently, addressing problems before they become visible, informing a vehicle's performance, about conditions only tires can feel, and in the future, communicating road conditions to everyone, enhancing uptime and safety along the way. Goodyear Sightline is looking beyond the tire, offering a new point of view, predicting, communicating, and advancing, so we keep moving the world forward.
Okay. And we are move on to the slides that's saying the Goodyear green energy. We here want to share to you guys about how we make the green energy, and that's already been applicable in Bogor. So before that, we as Goodyear Associates, we have this roadmap, the roadmaps that's saying how we work and how we win. And this roadmap is called the enabling of the mobility. This is like a guideline for us to do how we work and how we win. And we are also being put to where we are focusing. And this is how we are trying to work as a Goodyear Associates to be working much more integrity, and then we try to help each other in our team member to energize our team, and then after that we are also trying to make things that being focused in sustainability. That's where's the green are.
Okay. Maybe I would like to add and inform you about the Goodyear value. So this is common in every company, right? So every company have the value and culture, and Goodyear already established for more than 88 years in Indonesia. So basically, they have a lot of strong culture and value, and to what we call to get more engagement from the associate. So because Goodyear is not come only for the fresh hire, but we also have the long service year for the associate itself. So that's why we will look to embed this value and core value, core process that we have to do. And this is also being applicable for their activity on day-to-day process. So this is quite important, how we can engage each other and also work together, because we are not only from the commercial side, we only also have the other things that need our support. So from the left chart, you see that how we win. This is the three value that we have, how we innovated the excellence and sales marketing excellence and the operational excellence. So in these three process, we need to ensure that basically all business unit from the commercial and also the manufacturing can achieve this one. And on the right side, how we work. This is also the value that we would like to give to our associate, how they work together with each other in the associate itself, how they can act with integrity, because no matter how smart you are, if you don't have the integrity, doesn't matter, doesn't work. And then you also need to work together. Strong people or smart people doesn't mean anything if they cannot work each other. Then the other one, the last one, is also the deliver result. Again, we are working together, so we need to ensure that basically what we do is to achieve our target. I think maybe Rian, you can continue with the other slide.
Okay, and for all that, we also want to have the focus on the middle of this. It's called the sustainability. So we could please everyone on it. We could please the sales. We could please the production guys. We could please the supply chains. Because on sustainability, we could go beyond the years, right? We can go much more further than now. And on that, we want to share you about the green energy management initiative that's help us to reduce the emission. We have 5 of the bullets that we want to share with you. The first of all, we have the energy management systems. That's how we try to fulfill every standard, every audit, and every needs that could be put in the nation, because this is like the rules of it. We have to comply for the regulations and the audit and stuff. And then after that, we have the energy efficiency programs, because if we already comply, if we already have an audit, if we already like accomplish things, we want to make it like more durable with a zero loss, and then we want to make it sustains. That's why we have like a 5-year project planning, because like on the business, if you have already fulfill the requirement, you also want to make it much more efficient, and then you also have the goals to go beyond the years. Like right now we just put it like a 5-year periods, and then after that we want to have it like this still about the energy. We want to have like the renewable energy certificates, or we call it a RECs, to make it a comply, to make it a very valid, and then try to make it a very green and make it safely stored. Because on the green energy, we could harvest from anything. We could harvest from the rain, we could harvest from the sun, on the solar, we could harvest on the wind, we could harvest on the flow of the water, or just like a backwash on our systems. So after that, we want to make it secure that the energy could be stored. That's number 3. Number 4, we are trying to have a fuel switching. A fuel switching. A fuel switching is like a partially switch, like a hybrid, because we cannot just flip like that. If we flip like that, there is like a composite things, like there's a drawbacks on one side to another that could lead us to like a stopping the production, or maybe have a small problem on the factory itself. So we are trying a gradual fuel switch. We try to make right now. We are trying to substitute the coal with the palm oil for the natural gas. So it could have a less carbon print, but it still run has the big for the calorie needed for the boiler. And then we also try to have a green renewable, like have it exchange with the hydrogens, because hydrogens, the waste of the hydrogen is only water. And then try to help for the other things is to switch it to switch it to the biomass, like the rubbish and waste. And on the rubbish and waste itself, if you dump it around, you just take it around, it would create a gas, which is called the biogas. It's a methane. We could still use that as an energy. And in the end, we would like to have an evaluation, and then make the R&D itself to make much more efficient, and then on the finalize, we have a carbon capture and make it less carbon and less emission also. And this is like the plan, the renewable journey. From we put it on a diagram that's gonna be held on from 2000 till 2020, and through this journey we are hoping to have this project run, and from the switching itself to be much more independent and much more greener. And this is the energy that's we are talking about. We're still using coal, we're still using natural gas, we're still using electricity. We still the electricity is being bought through the PLN from the government company. However, all of these things have a graduation of percentage. We want to have it much more minimum, so we could be independent and as greener as possible. Like the coal boiler is still using small amount of coal, but being backed up by the natural gas, and a palm kernel, like a waste of the palm. We could burn it and make it a fuel, like the energy itself. Now, this is the percentage of the energy. This is the charts that we have on that's being released on the sustainability report to the public. This one is 2022, like 2 years ago, because 2024, right now it's not going to be published yet, early on, and we still use a lot of electricity, coal, natural gas, and biomass. However, we try to flip this one out. We try to make the renewable one from the biogas, from the biomass, and from the solar panels that will be much more higher. But we cannot have that like a flip of a second. We have it on year by year experience. Now, this is the ones that we are implemented right now in Bogor. We have a solar panel. We have a solar panels that produce the energy for our head office, and then for the factory. Right now we put it on a 3 phase, like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. On the phase 1 is being conducted 2022. Last year at 2023, we already put some of the solar panels around 50 kilowatts on the head office, and it's running very smoothly, is working. And to escalate it, this year we try to make it much more bigger, like 30 times bigger on the factory roof, so it could produce much more higher capacity, like in total of 1.7 megawatts in a years to come. So from this, from the 50 kilowatts, is like 0.07% of renewable energy that's coming from the solar. It's gonna be upscale to 4%, because from the 50 kilowatts gonna be gradually much more higher, being put increases to the 1.7 megawatts. And it doesn't take much more space. It's gonna be put on the roof of the manufacturing factory.
Yeah, maybe I can put another information. So as you can see in the slide before, as you might know, Goodyear is the only one company that's still working and operate in the community. So usually government will what we call remove the industry to the industrial state. But because Goodyear already established for more than 88 years, and it's already established before the Independence Day, so actually government giving the what you call it permit to Goodyear that they can run it. And the challenge for us is how we ensure that basically we do not make the damage for the environment, and also not giving the pollutant to the environment itself. That's why, because this is the tire industry, we need to ensure that basically our boiler operation will not impact to the community surrounding us. That's our target, how we would like to change the process from the coal process into the PKS, or cangkang sawit. And this is also impacting about the what we call it the percentage of the smoke that we create for the steam. Because is there anyone know how long that we need to what we call it start up the operation before it's running normally? Yeah, we need 4 hours actually to what we call it run the boiler, so they can reach the minimum level of the heat before they can run to what we call it curing the tire itself. So it's a long hours actually. And do you know how much much coal that we need to burn to get this high level of the hot itself? That's why as our contribution to the community, we need to ensure that basically Goodyear will run the green process and ensure that basically we are not damage the environment.
Mungkin boleh saya tambahkan. itu kan tadi dalam memproses kita menggunakan yang green juga ya. Tapi di produk kita sendiri itu produk kita sendiri nanti mungkin Mbak Sarah bisa bantu saya juga ya. Jadi di produk kita sendiri itu tire-nya itu mengandung substance of contents. Jadi seperti kayak timbel, nikel atau apa itu kita kurangi dengan batas tertentu. Dan juga yang simple banget yang kita bikin ya, mungkin yang sangat terima kasih. Jadi yang juga yang kita lakukan di tire kami itu mungkin kita pernah lihat ya kalau ban yang baru itu selalu ada garis warna putih, biru atau apalah, ada warna-warna apa. Itu kan sebenarnya itu adalah suatu kayak bisa bikin satu polusi ya. Karena itu mengandung dalam pembuatannya untuk threadline itu menggunakan solvent ya. Yang jadi yang salah satu yang merupakan cukup yang berbahaya dengan kondisi lingkungan nantinya. Nah di Goodyear kita semua threadline itu kalaupun masih ada itu kita sudah menggunakan water base. Dan sebenarnya juga kita untuk beberapa tire yang kita suplai ke OEM kita bahkan mengusulkan ke mereka kita tidak menggunakan threadline, we not use the threadline. Ya, because kalau ban baru kan sudah kelihatan baru. Jadi kan kalau ditambah threadline itu akan ya fungsinya sih enggak untuk begitu menunjukkan ban baru, tapi paling enggak kita bisa mengurangi polusi yang akan nantinya terjadi. Begitu ya Mbak Sarah? Ditambahkan? Oke, thank you. Itu kalau di produk.
Okay. Maybe you have a question for us? As we see, this is the factory. And it's being surrounded by the community for the household. And then we have a stadium, an old stadium of Bogor, the Pajajaran Stadium. And then next to it, we have the railway of the Jabotabek KRL, the electricity train in Bogor. So to make it green, then to make it suitable for people, it's the only options that we have. So we have to comply on it. Okay? Next. As you know, Bogor is called the rainy city, right? And we have a very abundant of water, and it is coming from the rain. And to have the factory running, we also need, beside of fuel, we also need water. Water for the black flash, water for make the steams goes up, for the heat exchangers, water for the toilet for our associates, and it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. So we are right now harvesting the rainwater, that's every afternoons or every mornings going down in Bogor. We harvest it, we put it on the tank, and then we filter it and do the reprocessing again, so it can be used again for the toilet use, and we can use it for the add-on water for the heat exchanger. So we could have a very close loop on our process. So we don't take a groundwater from the ground. So it it make the tire, it make the surface of the factory still solid, doesn't goes down, and then very less waste on the water itself, because we refilter it again, have it in a closed loop, so the water doesn't come out as a waste. So that's the things we do. And if you all know, the amounts of bills that's coming from the water is quite big. So this is like the other way around. We harvest it and we use it because it's quite free right now in Indonesia. Yeah, that's all. And maybe you have another question for me, Chris?
As Sir said, using the alternative thing for the color in the new tires. And I'm just curious, is it more expensive in cost to go actually green? Yeah, is it like more expensive, or is it actually also to be cheaper to go green? Yes, that's my question.
Maybe Pak Sondi or Pak Bayu would to answer. Is it cheaper to go green, or is it? It's not cheap.
Okay, to answer your question, it's a very good question actually. Yeah. To be to being more green, of course, it's more expensive actually. Whatever it takes, it's more expensive. But we have to do it. Even with the small things, we start to do it, and we keep continue until it's really green. So, if you ask how much the money we lost, actually we don't lose money, but it's of course reducing our margin actually. But it's okay. We have to do it, and then we have to make it to optimize which one the balance between the margin and the cost, something like that. You want to add something?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. Because when we talk about business, we're not only talking about profit and loss, right? So we need also to contribute what we will ensure that we comply with the regulation itself. So at the beginning, yeah, of course, we need to invest some money to make this process is follow the rule, and also ensure that basically we also have the clear target in certain years that we need also to run the operation with the green energy itself. But again, it's already calculated in the process, so everything will be meet our financial perspective in the certain years. So again, we're not only talking for the short term, but we need also to discuss, to think about what will be the impact of this process in the community and also the country itself.
Maybe to add more, to make you more, what you call, more knowledgeable. For example, in China, maybe around 20 years ago, China already, what you call, not to ask the people using what we call it bias tire. Bias tire is normally using by trucks, which of course can carry more overload, but they converted to radial tires. Radial tires is what you using right now in the car. We call it radial tires. But in Indonesia right now, currently, we're still using around 80% bias tire. So in China, why the China government asked the people not to using the bias tire anymore? Because this bias tire consume more fuel, around 10% compared to radial tires. You know what it means? More fuel means more emission to burn, right? That's why the government in China already said to everybody, to the society, to the civilization, not to using bias tire anymore in the commercial things, because radial tires can reduce around 10% of fuel consumption. So starting by that one, in China right now already produce more radial truck tires. But for passenger car tires, of course, right now in Indonesia, in worldwide already radial. But for truck and bus, normally for truck, still using in the development countries, still using bias tire, like in Philippines, in Indonesia, and some of Muang Thai, India. But in the modern country, normally all of it already radial. Even they're using the tubeless tire for trucks, something like that. Hope answer your question. Okay, I think Bu Dinda, you have something to give, because this is very, very good question.
Yeah, I'm hoping to from another student, maybe the ones next to Chris. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay. A stock price. That's a good one. I think Pak Richard will answer this one.
Stock price. So actually, when we run the business, the Goodyear in global process need to understand that basically we need to comply with the local law and also the regulation itself. So when we put the what you call it our share to the short stock exchange, basically there's a requirement from the government itself how the business can ensure that basically they follow the regulation. And one of the process that we need to do is how we can change the current process into the green energy. And it is also help us that basically Goodyear will support the government program, not only in the global, but also in the local country like Indonesia and the development country itself. So it will also help the, what you call it, the brand perspective itself, how they maintain that basically this company already follow the ground rule. I hope this is also answering this question. Okay. If related to the customer behavior, goes to Pak Sondi.
I think the customer behavior worldwide, of course, will change because many people concerned about the environment. But of course, in Indonesia right now, it's still moving on the right direction. At the moment, not really little bit changed about that. But I think in the coming time, we'll be follow the regulation and change this behavior. And maybe many people will say, oh, I need to change my tire with the less consumption of the fuel, for example. Or I need to change my tire with the green tires. So maybe later we change this mindset. And we have to adapt that one. Okay? Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Beth. You can answer?
The challenge by promoting the green energy. The challenge is quite a lot. The challenge is quite a lot. The green energy is the goal. Now, right now, we are having, if we don't do greens, it have an impact on us directly because we are in the community in Bogor area. Next to our factory is like an old complex, and then as if we put a lot of smoke on our chimney in our boiler, maybe the how you call it, the Pa RT and Bu RT in English, I forgot to mention that. The head of a community, the head of a community will come to us, or maybe the mayor will come to us and then saying the impact of the pollutions that we have. And that will cause us much more than we that's much more than our cost of productions. They could impact a lot because we have to make our brands is quite good. We have to protect our good names. So it's quite challenging, and but that doesn't mean we don't have we cannot find a way. We still have find a way, and right now we are we are in the good proper of the KLHK, and so I think we are doing good right now. And for answering Chris, I want to reply for Chris' question. Does green doing greens is cheaper or expensive? Yes, it's expensive. If you want to make it on a small note, eating healthy food is much more expensive, right, than the fast food, but it's have an impact on your body. So maybe you got fat, or maybe you go much more sleepy or stuff like that. So to make the context on the right perspective, I think it could be useful on that part. Yes, Mutia. Oh, yeah. Wait, Mutia. Is Mutia right? Yeah.
Okay, maybe also I'd like to add information for Ibu that question, right? So, what is the challenging? It's not only about the financial, but we need also to ensure that basically about the quality, because this tire industry, right? We have a certain requirement how the boiler can produce a good quality of the tire itself. When we change the coal into the PKS, what will be the challenge? This is the things that we need to study, not only for the certain period, but it is a long period that we need to ensure that basically, if we change this coal, what will be the impact to the product? What will be impact to the quality itself? And then when we talk also about the solvent, because there is also government regulation, right? So what will be impact the process on the daily activity? So this is the things that we need to, what we call it, calculate not only once, but we need to ensure that basically when we change it, we will give it the same process or the same product or maybe better than that. This is the things that we need to ensure.
I think her hand. Oh, you have a mic there?
So I have a question. Will the price of Goodyear's tires change efficiently due to the costs, to cover the costs of producing the green tires? Yes.
Does the price of the Goodyears affecting the green tires? Yeah. Derry, we have a finance guy here. Okay, is you gonna, Pak Derry will answer this one because this is related to the cost, and cost is money.
Thank you, Mutia. This is a good question. So basically, the green material, it might cost us a higher cost, but what's the trigger for price increase? Not only because this what I call it green material, because it's usually like year on year we have like inflation or another particular price increase that we as company need to rise our price. I mean price increase. So related to your question, at the moment how as company why we as Goodyear commit to for sustainability is not only about the environmental, but also for the sustainable business outcome. So in this case, yes, for certain topics, it can cause our tire more expensive, but for future perspective, we want to have like more sustainability business outcomes. I hope it answers your question.
And to add with Pak Dere explanations, we still cover you from all of the injury. We have the worry-free assurance, all risk assurance that being put in every tires that we have. So as if you have a puncture tire, we still have it covered. So I still used to, I think you could still have a win-win on it, I think. Okay. And I'm seeing here in front of Mutia, somebody's taking a lot of notes, maybe. You have a question for us? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So when we're talking about a business, how we need to ensure that basically this business can run and sustain for a long time. Actually, regulation or compliance is only one thing. But the important thing is how we need to ensure that basically our strategy will meet the customer requirement, maybe expectation, something like that. Because maybe you all, I don't know, have you heard about Kodak? Have you heard about IBM? This is also a big company at a time. But again, maybe they don't, what we call, they feel that they already big, but they don't want to follow the changing in the market. They don't want to follow about the customer expectation. And what happened right now? They are already lost in the market, right? So this is the things that we need to do. Basically, we're not only talking about 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. Actually, we need to thinking more than that, beyond about that. And everything is changed, including about the recruitment process. Because when we talk about the associate, maybe we have the gap generation itself, right? We call it the baby boomers generation, and then we have the millennial generation. But when they work together, how we need to ensure that basically they can work as a good team. This is also important for the business itself, how they can combine the young and also the old generation work together to give the good result. This is the important thing, how we need to ensure that the sustainability, not only talking about the regulation, but only talking about the business can run for a long time. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. What's your name again? Ridwan. Thank you, Ridwan. Very good question. You have two questions actually. How the buyer still loyal because of the green, and then is there any impact, and then how we marketing our tires, right? So if we are talking about green, it's not only the raw material that we made from the green things, but we design the tires, which is of course can also have an ability to reduce fuel. So in tires, we know there is one features, what we call it rolling resistance. You know, rolling resistance means once you start the engine, the gas, for example, start the gas, and then it's easy to move the car. So we call it low rolling resistance. Every tire industry right now is racing how to make the very, very low resistant tires, rolling resistant. By achieving this goal means we are saving also the earth, you know, because it's saving the fuel. So less fuel consumption means we saving the earth, and then we more go to green. So how to marketing those kind of tires? Of course, by telling the buyers that, hey, our tire is very low rolling resistant tire. And then in the, maybe in Indonesia already a developed country, also interest how and to buy low rolling resistant tires. So this is what we call it also more green tires. The other tires that, of course, made by soybean material, which is right now fully using in Europe. So in this case, because on those country already mentioned to everywhere that they are more like to use the green and more green. So in this kind of country, of course, they are looking for those kind of tires. But in Indonesia right now, only still looking for the low rolling resistance at the moment. So time will telling us when this become massive product, similar like electric cars. Maybe right now it's very expensive, the electric cars. These electric cars also need special tires, what we call it electric tires. So these electric tires need specific way to make it, to make more low rolling resistance also. So if later on these electric tires combined with these electric cars, it's also already, we call it saving the environment later on. So I hope this answers your question. So in terms of how to marketing those tires, we try to make a balance, which one the best until now. So every time what the company do is doing the balance things. Okay?
Okay, Bapak Ibu, the producer already give me warning time. So Bapak Ibu, please give the panel a big round of applause. Thanks very much. We have a very lively discussion and we have really good questions. I think we can conclude that with sustainability practice, it's not only for increasing profit for shareholders return, but also for a better future. We here at i3L, Pak, we also have a waste management program to reduce waste. So if you notice, we will use no plastic bottle, yeah, and then students are also accustomed to bring their own containers to buy from the cafeteria. You can use the microphone from your desk, yeah. Is it on? Okay, Fadil? Fadil, can you help, please? Okay, maybe we can give Yes. Yeah, so I think the common goal is to have a sustainable future, both on industrial level and personal level. So here, maybe one of our students will be interested in joining workforce after this. They are used to green lifestyle, ya Pak. So that's our common goal is to save the earth because this is the only one we have. So we better save it. Okay, Bapak Ibu sekalian, thank you so much for your time, and maybe I will invite our lovely dean to come forward, and we have an exchange in some souvenir and memorabilia. And also certificate, yeah, for the panels. Yeah. This one you cannot gada ya, Pak? Cannot. So the first time certificate of appreciation is given to Pak Richard Lumbantoruan. Give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, Bapak. Next certificate is to Pak Bayu Putranto as an appreciation of a certificate of appreciation from i3L. Thank you. We have for the next one Pak Rian Azhar, certificate of appreciation from i3L. And the last but not least, for Pak Sondi Nugroho, a certificate of appreciation from i3L. Okay, and yes, and we still have a placard. An exchange of a token of appreciation and souvenir from Goodyear, Indonesia. And also placard from i3L to Goodyear, Indonesia as a token of appreciation. Maybe I should be in the picture too. I'm the HOD. Okay, I don't think. Okay, maybe next we can have a